You've likely heard that fermented foods are good for you. But in Japan, where some of the world's longest living people reside, these foods aren't just nutrition. They're rituals, passed down like stories. Not supplements, not trends, but quiet protectors of the gut, the heart, the bones. Even science now agrees some fermented foods can lower blood pressure, improve calcium absorption, and even reduce mortality by 10%. So, why do most seniors still overlook them? Today we're uncovering 5 fermented Japanese staples that have helped elders thrive well past 90. Not by magic, but by remembering how to nourish with intention. Let's begin, not with hype, but with humble wisdom. And perhaps, a small habit that changes your entire next decade. Number 1, natto, the sticky secret to strong bones. You might wrinkle your nose at first. Natto isn't shy. It smells strong, looks stringy, and clings to your chopsticks like it's refusing to be ignored. But perhaps that's the point. Because what it does inside your body is just as persistent. As we age, our bones quietly begin to whisper, not with pain at first, but with porosity. Calcium slips through like sand between fingers, and the bridges that once held us upright, our spine, our hips, our legs, begin to tremble. But here's what natto carries: a rare form of vitamin K2 known as MK7, which acts like a placement guide, directing calcium away from soft tissues, like arteries, and into the bone matrix where it belongs. One study from the University of Westminster found that in just 6 weeks, participants who consumed natto regularly had over 50% reduction in bone mineral variability, meaning their bones became more stable, less brittle, more unified. Imagine your bones as an ancient temple. Time has worn the corners. But K2 doesn't just reinforce. It reorients like a wise craftsman restoring structural alignment with every touch. In Japan, elders don't call natto a superfood. They just eat it. With rice, with mustard, in silence. Like brushing their teeth. A ritual of maintenance, not medication. You don't have to love the taste. Start with small amounts. Or try a fermented K2 supplement inspired by natto. Because the truth is simple. You're not done building. Your structure is still sacred. And sometimes, the stickiest foods leave behind the strongest bonds. 2. Miso, a bowl of warmth that lowers risk. Before medicine came in bottles, it came in bowls. And few bowls have carried more quiet power than miso. Miso is made from soybeans fermented with koji, a live culture that, over weeks or months, transforms ordinary beans into something extraordinary. This process doesn't just change the flavor. It unlocks bioactive peptides that reduce inflammation, protect your blood vessels, and balance the immune system, especially in aging bodies, where overreaction can quietly harm more than help. In one long-term study published by the British Medical Journal, seniors who consumed fermented soy regularly, including miso, had a 10% lower risk of all-cause mortality. Not because miso is a miracle, but because it works like daily maintenance rather than emergency repair. Picture miso as a blanket woven by your grandmother, warm, grounding, something that calms you even before you sip. When you drink miso soup in the morning, especially before a heavy meal, you're not just getting flavor, you're giving your digestive system a head start. You're telling your blood vessels, you don't need to brace today, I've got you. Unlike many salty foods, miso doesn't spike blood pressure the same way, thanks to its fermentation and lower sodium absorption. And when paired with seaweed, tofu, or scallions, it becomes a functional tonic, not just tradition, but a biochemical gift passed down quietly through generations. No complicated prep, no expensive equipment, just warm water, a spoonful of paste, and 5 minutes of quiet. It's a kind of medicine that doesn't ask you to change. It simply invites you back to something you've always known. Because sometimes longevity doesn't begin with a pill. It begins with a bowl. Diggerstat's 3. Low-Sodium Soy Sauce, the River Whisperer. At first glance, soy sauce might not seem like something healing. Dark, salty, intense. It's the flavor that gives dishes their depth, but often gets blamed for raising blood pressure, and rightly so in many modern versions. But The low-sodium, traditionally fermented soy sauce, known in Japan as shoyu, carries a secret almost forgotten in the West. This version isn't just lighter in salt, it's richer in bioactive peptides, tiny protein fragments that have been shown to gently inhibit angiotensin-converting enzyme, ACE, the very molecule responsible for narrowing blood vessels and tightening circulation. In a 12-week Japanese study, participants who swapped regular soy sauce for fermented low-sodium versions experienced statistically significant drops in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, without medication, and without changing the rest of their diet. Picture your bloodstream as a winding river through a peaceful valley. When tension rises from age, stress, or inflammation, the river begins to swell. Its banks erode, its flow strains. But when soy sauce is fermented slowly with natural koji cultures, it releases compounds that act like a whisper to the river walls. Let go. You can soften. And that's exactly what happens. The vessels relax. Blood flows more freely, bringing oxygen and nutrients gently to every corner of your body, from fingertips to brain. This isn't about cutting flavor. It's about choosing a version of it that works with your body, not against it. So, the next time you drizzle soy sauce over your tofu or greens, consider this. You're not just seasoning a dish. You may be sending a quiet signal to your entire circulatory system. You're safe. You can flow. F4, Tsukemono, the crunch that balances the gut. They arrive at the edge of your plate, barely noticed. A few slices of bright daikon, a sliver of purple eggplant, a soft crunch of pickled cucumber. But in traditional Japanese meals, tsukemono, fermented vegetables, are never afterthoughts. They are balancers, always placed with intention. While the West often treats gut health as a problem to fix, Japan has long understood the gut as a garden to tend. And tsukemono is the rake, gentle, regular, quiet, that keeps its pathways clear. These colorful vegetables are rich in lactic acid bacteria, the kind that doesn't just help digestion, but actively crowds out harmful microbes, reduces inflammation, and even assists in the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin. Your microbiome isn't just about food. It shapes your mood. It regulates your immune system. And as we age, this microbial ecosystem becomes more fragile, easily tipped off balance by stress, medication, or poor sleep. Tsukemono provides a low-effort, high-impact ritual to keep that balance. No capsules, no trendy powders, just what your body already knows how to welcome. In fact, Japanese elders often say, eat something alive at every meal. And that doesn't mean raw. It means fermented, nurtured, aged, and still quietly active. A spoonful of fermented cabbage, a few bites of pickled turnip. These aren't condiments. They're allies. And maybe they're also a whisper to your body. Let me help you carry this meal gently. Because healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's crunchy, colorful, and just off to the side, waiting to be remembered. 5. Amazake, the gentle energy tonic. It doesn't shout. It doesn't sparkle with superfood labels. And yet, Amazake has quietly comforted generations in Japan, not as a health trend, but as a gesture of care. Made from fermented rice and koji, Amazake is a soft, naturally sweet drink with no alcohol and no added sugar. But what it offers goes far beyond taste. In ancient times, samurai would drink it before battle, not to fight harder, but to stay steady, to think clearly, move gently, endure without collapse. Today, modern research confirms that Amazake enhances glucose metabolism, supports gut microbiota, and delivers a bundle of B vitamins, natural digestive enzymes, and resistant starches, all of which are deeply nourishing to a senior's system, especially one waking up slow, stiff, or foggy. But more than that, Amazake does something no supplement can. It tells your nervous system you are safe now, that it's okay to receive nourishment without effort. That digestion doesn't have to be a daily battle. Sip it warm in the morning, not with urgency, with reverence. Let its silky texture coat your stomach before coffee or a heavy breakfast. Feel how your breath deepens, how your body softens, as if someone placed a warm hand on your back and said, You don't have to brace yourself today. Amazake isn't just nutrition, it's permission to begin your day gently, not reactively. And in a world that asks seniors to push, fix, and outperform, sometimes the most radical thing is to allow ease. We often look for the new, the latest discovery, the next superfood, the shortcut to staying young. But what if the real secret to longevity isn't hidden in breakthroughs? It's quietly waiting in the things we've forgotten to value. These 5 fermented foods aren't trends, they're time-tested rituals, gently woven into the lives of elders who rarely saw aging as a problem to solve, but rather as a process to respect. Think about it. Each bite of natto isn't just nutrients, it's structure being rebuilt. Each sip of miso isn't just taste, it's your system softening, realigning. Every tangy crunch of Tsukemono is a signal to your gut. You are still alive, still adaptable. And Amazake, that quiet morning drink. It's not there to fix you, it's there to remind your body how to feel safe again. Maybe the real medicine isn't new. Maybe it's been waiting for you on the side of your plate, quietly offering peace in every bite. So I invite you to ask, not just, what should I eat, but what memory am I reawakening when I nourish myself like this? What rhythm am I restoring that my body always knew, even when I forgot? Because healing isn't a reset button, it's a return, a coming home to bowls warmed by time, not urgency, and a gentle trust in the wisdom that still lives inside you. If any part of today's journey reminded you of a taste once shared, a scent from your mother's kitchen, or a moment when food felt like comfort instead of control, then maybe, just maybe, it's not about learning something new. It's about returning to something ancient, something yours. Which of these foods speaks to your story? Have you ever tasted natto, miso, or amazake, or something similar from your own culture? Share it in the comments. Your memory may awaken someone else's healing. If this quiet kind of wisdom is what your heart has been seeking, gentle, grounded, and made just for you, then come join us. Not out of urgency, but out of belonging. We'll be right here when you're ready.